Lost Ark is planning to do a reboot. And hot take right at the beginning, I honestly think if they do everything correctly, it's gonna be a huge success. But more on that later.
Hey, what's up? It seems that Lost Ark wants you to return to the game, and it
True.
appears that they are confident enough in the changes they've made and the changes they will make for the next 2 months to
Okay.
have you back on fresh start servers, by the way, servers which have exactly the same content as the legacy ones, only with the difference that they believe gatekeeping, bots, and the daily grind will be better on a fresh start version. And with that,
Okay.
Smilegate also believes that the Western service is in a good place to bring players back. And just to give you a couple of
Maybe.
examples that they have in mind when they say we are ready for returning players, one of them being Chaos Dungeons, for example, will take 25% less time overall to complete. And another example is that Guardian Raid entries with full loot have been
25% less time. Okay, that's real cute. But the Chaos Dungeon takes, how long did it take? 5 to 10 minutes on average to complete? Let's say 7. Okay, 25% of 7 is, okay, 6 minutes. 6 minutes times 2, 12. 12 times 6 characters, 72 minutes. That's 1 hour, okay? That's still way too much.
reduced from 2 a day to 1 a day in an attempt to cut down on your homework, on your chores. Now, having this said and keeping
Okay, only took us literally years to get to this point, but I like this. Okay, so that's 30 minutes with rested. With rested experience, it's actually even less. Okay, I like what I'm hearing.
in mind that these are not the only changes that are coming to Lost Ark to better suit new and returning players. I'm still a little bit on the fence here. I'm not saying they're bad changes, actually, they're good on paper, but I'm just worried that
Panda
they might
Island.
be more of a band aid than a full solution. Now, let's dissect this info and talk about some of the scenarios here based on what we have so far in the article. So, fresh start, everyone's back at square one, new servers. At
Yes.
first glance, fewer
And that means that we're again gonna do basic Belshazzar and the storyline, and people are gonna wipe on the meteor thing again. It's gonna be great. And don't even get me started on Poseidon, okay? Every gate at Poseidon is easy, except the last one where even I don't honestly know the mechanics, okay? Just random stuff happens and sometimes you die. And you need to ping a lot when you actually can't move and need to be broken out. Otherwise he just one-shots you. Oh boy, the joys. I already can feel the joys. I honestly don't want to return to that place. I'm not gonna lie, I don't.
guardians, faster chaos sounds good. And you might think, okay, I get to do some of my daily chores faster and get the same amount of mats, which leaves me with more free time on my hands. I can choose to spend that leftover with my family or studying or playing another game, and so Lost Ark feels less of a burden in my life overall, all while still having as much honing as I had before. It's good so far, right? But I would have added a little.
Well, actually, it's not good. You know what's the biggest downfall of Fresh Start servers? Well, it's the fact that my completion log is on like 98% still, and I haven't played for a year. Yeah, you know how long it takes to do all the Una tasks to full completion? Quite a while. Do you know how fun is it to find insects or mushrooms or whatever the fuck was it in Rohandel while 3 other people are constantly running also? Yeah, not that great, you know? A lot of these things are questionable. You know how long it takes to get your full report to Sasha? And then the hot little girl that everyone wants to protect on that stupid island? A long time! A very long time. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it again. But if you don't do it, you can't actually max your skills to level 12 or something because you don't have the skill stat potions. Unless they change that, that's going to be a serious issue. Because for people who haven't completed those things, like I had 99, almost everything. You know, literally almost everything. But how can we achieve that? Again, well, we can achieve that again, but the question is, do I want to? That's going to be a huge issue for people who actually spent the time doing all of that. Spider Island, good luck getting that island soul with not enough people playing the game. It's gonna be impossible. I don't want to be doing Harmony Island 87 times again before I get the island soul. You know, these are things I question.
Little bit extra maybe to this time-saving concept just because it's a fresh start and I want to go the extra mile if I'm Smilegate, especially for the players. For example, cut the daily quests to one instead.
Oh, and imagine that one guy, because I have only seen that mount 2 times. Imagine, what's the Peach Island island's name? The one where you can farm peaches and get the mount. Yeah, that one. I have seen only 2 people with that mount. I was like barely 20% done with that island while grinding the soul out. Imagine people who want that peach mount and they need to get it again. Wow, just it would be pain.
Instead of 3. For no particular reason besides these loading screens, like 4 per characters times 6 characters in a row, they are just literally suffocating. Another thing that I would have done is changing the rest bonus.
You don't need to move as a panda, by the way, here to the locations and doing the panda things. You don't need to be in the costume.
To not bite you in the ass and give you less loot if you gather this rest bonus, but instead be a tool that empowers you to have different looking days. Because with the rest bonus, you always are on a loss if you gather it. And I maybe should be grateful to just have a rest bonus in this MMORPG, but it's a fresh start server again. I want to go full ham, I want to go all the way. Granted, excessive repetition of daily content is also toned down by them reducing the amount of guardians that you do every day, and also the speed at which you finish chaos dungeons, so you get to see less of them every day. But it could be absolutely magical when you could choose today and tomorrow I'm not doing any guardian raids, any chaos dungeons, any daily quests, and I get 1 full bar for each, which means I don't lose on any loot. But then in 2 days from now I'm gonna do, like, you know, 4 chaos dungeons or 4 guardian raids or 3, and then I get to win everything back. It would be very helpful, especially if you want to impress players that have already quit your game. Another thing I wanted to discuss is free-to-play hardcore players. Players who spend a lot of time in the game and want to be rewarded for.
Hey, that was me. I had 2,500 hours or something. Good stuff.
They don't want to
never paid a single dime, by the way.
Real money. They just want to make it for free. In my opinion, on a fresh start server, you should sort of consider these players as well, and you should consider somehow making them happy. Now, apparently,
I don't get this point. I played Lost Ark fully free to play, never bought anything, and I was completely fine. I was doing the end game at the moment when I was quitting with 3 characters, absolutely no issue. Were my gems maxed out? No, I never bought gems. I never pulled all of my gems even together for my main. And still, I got into groups. There was no problem, and it was not groups like, oh, it wasn't buses. It was just normal groups. It took a long time. That's true, but no, it took a long time because there's always supports missing. But still. No problem. Absolutely no problem. I don't know, maybe this is just a US thing where everyone's constantly trying to gatekeep you that hard. But in Europe, it's not that problematic most of the time. It's just the supports.
These changes that we have so far give these kinds of players more time to play, even more characters, right? If you want to see it like that. But then realistically, the only thing that these players are getting for their main characters to sort of boost them.
Dude, look at this guy doing a Quadian Rage solo. I have never done this, by the way. This is one where I already left. Man, I left literally before Burrell Shah's released. You know, man, I remember Firefox U-Hope, that stupid, dumbest Guardian ever, because it just sprays the whole screen with fire and then you can't stand anywhere. When I was at that item tier, I was like, okay. And my main was a Demon Hunter, and I did not go Demonic Transformation. I was the hipster without a meter. Well, with a meter, but I didn't use demonic transformation. Bruh! I didn't go for teams with Firefox Yuho. I soloed that shit. And it was abysmal. Let me tell you that much. Worst Guardian raid ever.
Them up faster,
Annoying.
and thus feel more rewarded for their time spent in game, is just twice the leap stones from the Guardian change and 25% more rogues from the Chaos Dungeon change. Not directly, of course, but indirectly because of the reduction in time spent to complete it, and so you can play maybe more characters, and this is how you come up with these numbers. Now, a player like that can have 1,000,000,000,000 leap stones, quite frankly, because without honor shards, he still cannot hone. Just an observation on the fact that I also used to play Lost Ark for 10 hours every day. However, I never really felt that my time in Lost Ark was rewarded enough. And lastly, I also want to pose a scenario
Reasonable
where
take.
Billy, CEO Billy, a wallet warrior, can just simply continue to pay to win on a fresh server. Quite frankly, one of the best ways to get ahead when there's not enough mats on the marketplace because everyone's honing and not selling is the cash shop. And so with that, an extra incentive to spend some real money, right? Which at this point, I don't really mind. It doesn't bother me. It's like whatever.
Bruh, shields are so dumb. Look at this guy. He's just shielding stupid gravity hammers.
But some people
Wait, or is this a purple dude? I don't know.
might actually be bothered. If I would be
Disgusting.
Smilegate, I would
Destroyers.
disable every single honing item in the cash shop for at least 1 month, just to see what happens, and just because it's the relaunch of Lost Ark.
Why?
I would leave the currency exchange,
Why?
though, for those.
Lost Ark is a game where someone, even if they fully go pay to win, they're never gonna bother you, okay? They are literally never gonna bother you. If someone is paying to winning, it doesn't matter, because they literally have absolutely no effect on the game, okay? Unless you're in a guild of them, but you know, those guilds are... In Lost Ark, you have guilds where only people who do Veil actually get into. And, well, yeah, you can't do PvP against them because it's not skill-based when you do that activity. But still, but still...
Juicy whales to buy.
Oh, Jesus, doing low-paying island again, that would be also torture.
My expensive gold, and with that gold, my expensive mats too. I think that would be fun, so I wouldn't touch that. Smilegate can make some money out of those as well. And then all of this makes me think about gatekeeping, which in its basic form is a party leader having to choose in between yourself and maybe 6 different applicants that each have either better stuff than you have, not just gear, armor, and weapons, but other things, or they are just a different class that maybe fits more with the combination they already have. And so gatekeeping disappearing completely is never going to happen. However, obviously, because we all start fresh, Billy, the wallet warrior, is not gonna gatekeep you with level 6 gems when he has level 7 gems. So it's definitely gonna get better, but how long will this rainbow of gatekeeping last? I guess until the gap is going to be considerable enough for people to really look at you and think you're dirty, right? And that in Lost Ark does unfortunately have a big chance to happen because there's always bigger and better, and bigger and better is better. But having all of this said, a few questions come to my mind, doubts if you may. Will a player like Andy, the hardcore wannabe free-to-play player, get burned out again just because he's playing as much as he used to before he quit? Only now.
When the new servers come, will they be up to the current content, or is it gonna be not even Argos? That's the question I have. Would be interesting.
Now on more.
Imagine grinding Argos again forever. Yeah, Argos. Man, Argos was the gatekeeper. That's for real. People who couldn't do Argos. Wow. You probably think Elden Ring is hard. Excuse me, they don't care about that game too much. But man, yeah, maybe you should try playing Elden Ring if you think Argos is hard. Like, you know, downgrade the difficulty like by a mile or something.
Characters because he freed up some time, Or will the game finally feel rewarding enough to keep Andy motivated,
Ooh,
seeing
Inferno.
a fulfilling vertical progress? I guess we're gonna find that out in September because we don't have a lot of details so far. Honing after 1580, this is another question that comes to mind, gets incredibly hard. And as I understand from the article, we're gonna get there quite fast. Now, will these changes to player homework and will the incentives
Wow,
related to
that was like
progression?
an instant counter. Okay, someone countered that in like the reflex time of a cat or something. Okay, that was pretty good.
Be satisfying enough to retain the people who gave the game another chance after 1580? Will this new community of players even have enough time to reach item level
Ooh,
1620 by December without feeling FOMO, stress, or compelled to deposit real money? Because there is the Ivory
a
Tower
little bit
patch
faster,
incoming in
dude.
December, and as it stands
Lucky.
right now, I cannot see how honing so much will be remotely possible on a fresh server with little to no mats for sale, tradable ones, and also, according to Amazon, no bots to farm them either. And I
No
strongly,
bots to farm them
strongly
either? I can't. Press X to doubt, boys, not gonna lie.
believe that new content is not a luxury that is mercifully
Oh wow, they all
bestowed
are in
upon me,
positions.
nor should it be a
Wow.
reason for stress and FOMO, but instead an absolute basic right in a game such as Lost Ark in 2023. Now that I say this out loud, will the new servers even have the Ivory Tower and 1620 content in December when in fact they open up in September? So there's like just
Wheelchair
literally max
mode.
2 months in between. I don't know, maybe they get content with a delay, or who knows, maybe there's going to be some major honing buffs before December, or will we just end up in the same situation as on the original release where everything was a race to beat the apparent bottomless hole of more and more item level to meet some criteria? And so I just wanted to explain my reasons for being skeptical, but my conclusion is that I am inevitably excited for a fresh start in Lost Ark. I
True.
would be excited for a fresh start in any MMORPG, quite frankly. I think they're
Yeah.
fun. However, I also know that there's two types of fresh starts. One in the lines of what Final Fantasy XIV did.
I don't think they can. I don't think Lost Ark will succeed if they do a fresh start and it actually isn't like capped at, I don't know. For example, well, yeah, Argos. Yeah, I think if it's fresh start and you have all the content available and that's gonna be bad. I think that would be problematic. And if you want new players, you should probably restart the game from almost zero, but maybe with all the classes that are currently available. That would be great. And obviously, some kind of thing that you can get that you don't actually have to do the campaign because it's not long, but it's annoying. It's even though it's pretty decent, story wise. But you kind of don't want to do any of that garbage, okay? There should be just I think just fresh servers where it's the current content but you start fresh probably not gonna work out that well. People are gonna very quickly realize, wait a minute, what what's the point of this if we're just literally right back where we were? If they do it like that, I don't think it's gonna be a success.
Where they have completely revamped and restructured their game to such a massive degree that a fresh start was warranted and it was incredibly well received with a completely different experience. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have games such as Aeon, Terra, Arcade, which
Okay.
also had fresh starts. New servers opened up for the sake of playing on those new servers and having fun from the beginning without any major restructuring of their game or without any long-term goal in mind,
Hmm.
right? Lost Ark's fresh start is somewhere in the middle of these two extremes. I can see some reasons why they would consider opening up new servers. The game has had a lot of new player-friendly changes throughout the last year and a half, and especially in recent months.
Well, a year and a half for friendly new player change is a little bit too late, in my opinion. You need to do something drastic to make people come back. and you know, just new servers with all the same content. That's gonna be like, I don't even think that, you know, the old people are gonna enjoy it.
But unfortunately nobody's new anymore, and these changes, while they were coming, again in very very little and far apart steps,
Yeah.
we were already not interested in them because they were not necessarily for our stage where we were at that time. But imagine if everyone is new and we already have all of these things that are now present in the game. I think it's definitely going to be a much better experience than the original one. However, is
Probably.
it gonna be good enough to make people re-fall in love with the game? I think that at a bare
I don't know. If you kind of fast track the content, again, if they just release all the bosses, all the things, all the gear caps, I don't think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna be a disaster. But again, if they kind of drip feed it, but you know, faster, like, you know, a new content update like in a 2 months or something like that. That could be fun. That could be fun. Like fast track the materials. Also, for example, you don't need to do that many bosses to get a full set and things like that. It could be possible.
minimum, it's gonna be a little bit of fun. Every fresh start is a little bit of fun, so why not? I'm definitely gonna check them out, see how the atmosphere is, and obviously come back to you here on YouTube with videos about it. But you know, my expectations are really not that high for the long term. I guess we're gonna have to see. In the meantime, I thank
Understandable.
you so much for watching this video, for your time. I'm gonna see you really soon.
Yep. Well, that was fun. That was Saivot. Don't know how to pronounce his name, whatever. Anyway, this was Kuzur Sid said. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day. Bye bye.